Hey, what's up everybody, Nexil here. Today we're playing Kingdom Hearts Union Cross and we're going to be talking about something I usually don't like to talk about, and that's whether or not you should be buying VIP, or at least giving you my thoughts and recommendations on this VIP. I usually don't like talking about it just because it involves spending real life money, and that is a very personal decision that people need to make for themselves, because that's real life money that could be going towards healthcare, it could be going towards food, it could be going towards tuition. So I usually stay out of that realm of VIP just because I don't like to coerce people into spending real life money. VIP can very quickly become a sinkhole of you spending $15 US every single week to just get used to that amount of jewels that you get every single week. So I stay out of VIP talk just because I don't like feeling that I'm swaying people to buying something that's optional. However, for this week specifically, because it's such a special VIP, what we're going to do is we are going to talk about the medal that is offered with VIP, we will talk about the package that's VIP as a whole, and then we will talk about what I think of the future of this game based on what we see from this VIP right here. So let's go ahead and start by talking about the medal. So this is the medal that you get for free if you buy VIP. All you got to do is complete the quest and you're ready to go. So this is Supernova ++ Terra-Xehanort B, or from here on out, I'm going to be calling it the Terranort B medal. It is going to be a reverse power medal that has a tier of 10, a base strength of 46,493, which is about the average what we see. Now, I know two medals out right now, the Master Xehanort and KR24, have a base strength of 49,000, but remember, those are also 10-pole mercies. This is VIP. Like, it's so much easier to get VIP than it is to spend 30,000 jewels for one medal. So a base strength of 46,493 is really respectable. That's roughly the ballpark of like Strikeform Sora or Kingdom Hearts 3 Dark Riku, so it's still a very respectable base strength. In terms of the base defense, it's 21,271, which isn't anything special. It's not super high, not super low. A multiplier of 19.10, which is generally on the lower end. We're used to seeing things around the 20 to 21 range. However, 19.10 for a medal that you get, again, for free with VIP is actually pretty good. Remember that Strikeform Sora has a conditional multiplier that goes between like 15 to 19. This is just a flat 19, meaning you're getting it every single time, which is, again, good for consistency. So it's a respectable multiplier, a respectable base strength. It has a gauge cost of 0, which is actually, in my opinion, very, very good. So remember that reverse Keyblades, so things like the Dark Gnaw, Missing Ache, and Diamond Dust, they inherently do not have a lot of gauges associated with them. It's somewhere around the 11 to 13 ballpark, but when you look at the upright ones that have a gauge like 18 gauges, 19 gauges, having a gauge cost of 0 is super important for reverse medals because it means you get to activate them all the time. Guaranteed activation of a medal. It doesn't matter how many gauges you have left. You could have 3, you could have 1 gauge, you could have literally no gauges left, but you can still activate this medal because it is a cost of 0 gauge. Under no circumstance should you not be activating a gauge 0 cost medal and guaranteeing the special attack every single time. Maybe there's like one scenario where you don't want to decrease hit count or something like that, but on average, a gauge cost of 0 is super easy to cast every single time. It is pretty much guaranteed. It does 11 hits, and I find that actually to be very respectable, because something that you see a lot in terms of how this game makes things difficult is a condition where you can only activate medals that do a certain number of hits. So for example, we see it quite a bit nowadays where it's like you can only activate medals that do 6 or more hits. You can only activate medals that do 10 or more hits. And that's really good for this medal because it does 11 hits. That's a very high number of hits. We talked about it with Strikeform Sora, but remember, bypassing that condition is very difficult because you can't use something like a standard Kingdom Hearts 3 Naminé, a Kingdom Hearts 3 Kyrie A. You have to be tricky with your buffers and the number of hits that they can do. So if you find yourself in a mission where you have to do a certain number of hits and you need a good buffering system, this is a great medal for that particular reason. Now, here we get to something that's very interesting, which is the special attack of this medal. And the interesting thing about it is that it's a perfect buffer. It is a straight up perfect buffer that takes care of your upright, reverse, power, speed, magic, and your general buffs and debuffs. It gives you +15 on the buffs and -15 on the debuffs for every single attribute. That means even if the enemy gives you -15 strength and bumps himself up to +15 defense, activating this attack twice with either a copy medal, extra attack, something like that, brings you back up to perfect buffs in all categories. Literally every single one that isn't like increasing your own defense or decreasing the enemy's strength, which is absolutely nuts. It's one of the things that makes Kingdom Hearts 3 Naminé the best medal in the format right now, or at least the most versatile one. Now it's on a VIP medal, which again you get for free if you buy VIP, which is absolutely insane because normally something like this would be a 5-pull mercy, a 10-pull mercy. In my opinion, this type of medal deserves to be a 10-pull mercy than the KR24 medal or the Master Xehanort medal that they just released, because this is so much utility. This is literally what we like to see on the best buffer of the game, and now again for free it's in VIP. It even gets better because it gives a base strength to all medals of plus 6,000. Naminé only gives plus 2,000. Even with extra attack, Naminé only goes up to 4,000, which is less than the activation of this medal once. With extra attack on Terranort B, that's plus 12,000, and again, that's 3 times the amount that Kingdom Hearts 3 Naminé gives out right now. So it does perfect buffs for all attributes. It gives you up to plus 12,000 strength with the special attack, and not only that, but there are effects loaded in. So the effects of the special attack, it gives gauge healing plus 3, and again, that's relevant for reverse Keyblades because they don't have a lot of gauges associated with them. Sometimes you find yourself with like 6 gauges left, but then you activate Terranort B, that's back up to 9 gauges. If you have extra attack, that's back up to 12 gauges. That can be very, very crucial for keeping your gauges up when you're casting stuff, especially if you have a lot of high gauge cost medals like Kingdom Hearts 3 Ansem the Wise, or something like, I forgot the gauge cost on Strikeform Sora, but like things like the Reaper, for example, you're gonna want to have those gauges, and the special attack of Terranort B helps you out a lot, especially with extra attack, giving you plus 6 gauge restoration. And this works well even later on in the Keyblade. So for example, if we're looking at Fenrir, the reverse power slot is the 4th slot. You've activated 3 medals up until that point, and you might need some gauge restoration. Terranort B has you covered in that regard. Terranort B also does count plus minus 0, which again is relevant for reverse medals because a lot of the older reverse medals affect count. Dissidia Sephiroth, the Rock Troll, those are really strong reverse medals that affect count. So to have count plus minus 0 is really, really good. Really, if it was count plus 1, that would give this medal even better of a rating than I'm giving it right now. So the special attack is just absolutely nuts. Like, it's completely broken. It gives you perfect buffs, the base strength increase for all medals. So again, power, speed, magic, upright, reverse, doesn't matter what the attribute is. You could put Terranort B on the beginning of the Diamond Dust and still get a lot of value out of it. You could put it on the Sleeping Lion and still get a lot of value out of it. Because it's got those general buffs and the generic base strength increase, it's a fantastic buffer medal. It's a fantastic setup medal, and with that strength and multiplier, it's a fantastic damage medal as well. So we haven't even gotten to the Supernova attack, which isn't as special, but it does give base strength increase to all medals by plus 10,000. We've only ever seen this base strength increase of special attack and Supernova attack on one other medal, and that's Supernova plus Xemnas. And remember that Supernova plus Xemnas made it to my top 10 list. Terranort B honestly might be on that list. I have to think about it some more, but this is a really strong medal because of how generic it can be, how it can fit into so many different Keyblades as either a buffer, or if you're running a power setup, as a damage medal, as some way to restore your buffs in case you lose them. So for example, let's go back to the Fenrir. Again, reverse power is the 4th slot. In fights like the Gula or the Envy fight, where they have an interrupt counterattack, where after activating medal number 3, for example, they will hit you and debuff you. If you activate Terranort B right after that, those buffs come right back, like instantly. And you get gauge restoration, and it doesn't affect the count, and you're guaranteed the cast. Like, that's absolutely nuts. And not only that, but the Supernova attack will give you even more strength. With extra attack on the special attack and the Supernova attack together, that's plus 22,000 strength. And again, I keep going back to this. This is a free medal with VIP, which is incredibly busted. In terms of the Supernova attack, again, it gives special attack bonus plus 300%, which is something that we're used to seeing with tier 10s. It does gauge healing on the Supernova attack. Like, that's really good because the Supernova attack is an attack on command. You don't have to worry about the timing of it on your Keyblade. You don't have to be like, all right, I have to get to slot number 4 to activate this. No, you could be anywhere in your Keyblade setup. If you need that gauge restoration, boom, 3 gauges right there and plus 10,000 metal strength. That's nuts. Being able to activate gauge healing on command is a fantastic ability to have. It also has count plus 1, and again, for the exact same idea, you're going to be getting counts when you need them. And that's very important because sometimes the timing doesn't work out. Sometimes you have to attack with certain metals or you can't skip certain metals. So having count +1 is extra utility that allows you to fix count the way you want to see them. So that's really good utility in terms of the special attack, the supernova attack. It's really, really strong. It's literally a damaging buffer hybrid metal, which is absolutely insane. So in terms of my thoughts and recommendations on the metal, if you don't have a Naminé, this is an excellent substitute for it. I say substitute because Naminé I find a little bit better because Naminé heals HP, it takes care of the Asuna, so it removes any sort of status ailments. Terranort B won't get rid of like poison or paralysis, for example, which can be very, very relevant based on what you're doing. So I don't think Terranort B is a replacement for Naminé, but it's a really, 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 really fantastic substitute for Naminé, being able to give even more strength than what Naminé is able to give alone. So I think it's a fantastic reverse toolkit. We don't really have a lot of reverse metals that are as great of a toolkit as Terranort B. Quite frankly, we don't have anything that's a reverse metal that's equivalent to Terranort B's buffing and strength increasing and overall utility with like gauge restoration and count fixing. So it's a fantastic metal. It's honestly an almost absurd metal to give for free with VIP. So what does this mean in terms of what I think? It means that future metals have to be better than this. So what I'm thinking is something like the next best buffer is going to have something like a supernova attack that gives all buffs, or a supernova attack that's also supernova renew. And honestly, we've been seeing a lot of metals that fix for their own buffs. They are self-buffing. So Dark Riku, Strikeform Sora, Illustrated Sora, all of those are metals that take care of their own buffs. And now we have Terranort B, who's in VIP for free, that does all the buffs. It makes me think that the next buffer is going to give some sort of additional type of attribute. So for example, when the upright and reverse attributes first came out, that was completely new. Having +2 upright strength back in the day when it was first released was absolutely broken, and that was the first thing that we saw with Kyrie EX. So we might see a buffer that introduces a new attribute, or it's able to bypass that +15 and potentially go up to something like +20. Not only that, but we could potentially be getting tier 11s that are capable of doing that, or they have some sort of special ability on the tier 11s. Like for example, tier 11s can have +20 general strength, or they can have +20 reverse strength. So we might be seeing something very, very new because we are seeing them maxing out on the current things that are available in terms of the buffs, debuffs, effects. We might be seeing something completely new because right now they're maxing out on it by giving us pretty much a free metal that has all the buffs installed. So it makes me think that like tier 11s might be coming, and makes me think that the new buffer is going to be something really nasty, like it'll have supernova renew or some sort of new attribute that they're bringing into the game. So what do I think about VIP now? So not only that, this is only a piece of the VIP package. It's not even the whole thing. So let's go ahead and head back to our game screen here. So this week's VIP is absolutely nuts. So first of all, you get that metal, which is fantastically broken. And then you also get the balloon aqua and 1400 jewels. So that's really good because Aqua's super cool, and I'm sure there's a lot of Aqua fans who want this balloon right now. You also get sub-slot metals. You get 3 tier 10 sub-slot metals, so those are metals you don't have to pull for, because tier 10s are still like the standard right now. So to get 3 of those for free to help you with your sub-slots is amazing. You get 15 tier 9 dual Meow-Wows, which is really, really good if you're starting, because odds are you've run into a few supernovas here and there, but you need to bring them up to Supernova Plus, and this is going to get 3 tier 9s up to that Supernova Plus. You also get what is an almost insane amount of gems. So you get 100 power, 100 speed, 100 magic, 5 sun, and 5 moon gems, which is absolutely disgustingly broken. So let me go ahead and pull up something I made roughly about like a year or two ago, where I looked at how many gems it takes to get to certain levels. So to get to level 35, if we're looking at the monocolored keyblades alone, 100 power, 100 speed, and 100 magic gems is enough to get all those to level 35, which is like the standard that you should be having things out. You only get 5 sun gems and 5 moon gems, which isn't enough, but all in all, it's a great package to get you started. If you're a veteran, 100 gems can benefit you a lot in terms of leveling up your keyblades. Because look at how long look at how many gems it takes to get to level 50. It literally takes almost 7,000, a little bit more than that, of power, speed, and magic gems just to get up to level 50. So 100 gems is very respectable. That is high score challenges you are not ranking high in. That's weekly solos that you don't have to rank high in. PvP that you don't have to rank high in. You essentially get it, again, for free just by buying VIP. So it's absolutely insane that they're giving you 310 gems like that. You get the blue fairies, the magic brooms, the magic mirrors, and the farmable SP Chip and Dale. So honestly, it's a broken VIP. And this is actually the first week that they're increasing the VIP value by adding things to Dark Road. So now you can get an additional 900 jewels, bringing you up to a total of 5,300. And on top of that, you get tickets in Dark Road, which are essentially free cards. So this is a broken VIP. It's honestly really, really gross, really, really disgusting. Honestly, I might buy it as like a treat yourself kind of thing for hitting 1,000 subs. But it's a really gross VIP. However, what do I think about it in total on my thoughts of whether or not you should buy it? I honestly think you have to decide that for yourself. I don't think it's so amazingly broken that you have to force yourself to spend real life money. Nothing about a microtransaction game that's free to play should force you to buy anything. If it does, that's a bad game. You should really just opt out of it at that point. So I don't think it's a forced buy, because again, you can still get nominate. Something might be along the horizon. Again, if you've been saving gems like a lot, or saving jewels like a lot of people have been saying, you likely will have enough to buy the next buffer unless they do something completely gross and make it non-mercy or something like that. So I don't think you have to buy VIP, because again, VIP is a sinkhole where I either see people buying it never or buying it all the time, and I don't want to coerce you to starting and spending real life money every single week because you get used to the amount of jewels you get used to the amount of rewards that you get. So really, it's up to you. If you've never bought VIP before and you're like tempted a little bit, don't feel tempted. It's not worth spending real life money and feeling like you're being forced to. That's really a personal choice you should make. If you get VIP every single week, this is going to be a great addition. Like, there's no question about it that this week's VIP is absolutely gross. But if you don't get VIP normally, again, don't feel coerced. It's just a medal. It's usually, VIP medals are like preview medals for what's about to come up in the next month or two, which again, I think is going to be like a new buffer. It's going to be some sort of new attribute, some sort of tier 11, something like that. So this is just a preview for those that buy VIP every week. If you're on the fence, like if you buy VIP maybe once every month or two, this is definitely a good VIP to buy. That is no question. But again, I don't want to coerce you one way or the other, because spending real life money is something you need to decide for yourself. But as always, that's the end of this video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave them down in the comments below, and I'd be happy to answer when I have the time. If you'd like to join my Discord, ask for some help from myself or the Twilight Nights when I'm not making videos, definitely hop down there in that yellow link. Just type it into your URL and you're good to go. But that's all for now. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, until next time, take it easy.